Anyways, according to Roman legend, by 510 BC, the Romans were on the verge of revolt against their tyrannical king Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. Now, Tarquin, of course, being famous for being such a despotic king that it caused the Romans to supposedly swear an oath to oppose monarchy forever. And we all know they definitely kept that promise. But anyways, in 510 BC, Tarquin was at war with the Rutuli people just to the south of Rome. And while he was gone, his son, Sextus Tarquinius, had raped a noblewoman named Lucretia, who was the wife of Tarquin's cousin, Lucius Tarquinius Collatinus. In her grief, Lucretia committed suicide, which this then triggered Collatinus and his buddy Lucius Junius Brutus, the nephew of Tarquin. This Brutus is also supposedly the very ancient relative of everyone's favorite, other Brutus. The two men quickly got rallied in Rome. The Senate and the people, and really anyone who was just pissed off at the king, declared Tarquin an enemy of the state, and declared the Republic in 509 BC, with Brutus and Collatinus being the first consuls. Tarquin, of course, after hearing about the revolt in Rome, tried to return, but was quickly forced to go into exile along with some of his family. Oh no, but don't worry, his story is not even close to done just yet. Tarquin then sent ambassadors to the city to try and organize a plot within the Senate to overthrow the new republic. A few senators, and even Brutus's own two sons, were actually part of the conspiracy, but it was quickly found out and all were put to death, including Brutus's two sons. Also, during this year in 509 BC, Collatinus was forced to resign as consul due to people's immense paranoia about his connection to the Tarquin family, even though Collatinus was nothing but loyal to the Republic and had just as much reason as anyone else to hate Tarquin. He was replaced by Publius Valerius Publicola as consul. Meanwhile, during this time, our lovely despotic boy, Tarquin, secured the support of two Etruscan city-states to the north, Tarquini and Veii. With that, he hoped to try and reclaim his throne. So them and the Romans fought in the Battle of Silva Arcia, and during the battle, one of Tarquin's sons was killed, and even Brutus himself. Afterwards, of course, Brutus was given a big hero-style funeral, and replaced by Spurius Lucretius as consul. Lucretius was, of course, the father of Lucretia. But Lucretius would die almost immediately of old age, and was replaced by Marcus Horatius Pulvius as consul as well. Publico would also enact two important pieces of legislation during this year. One was the right to appeal a capital punishment to a people's assembly, and the other was that any man that tried to make himself king would have all his rights stricken away, and you were allowed to legally kill him without reprisal. This concludes most of the major events of 509 BC. Tarquin would again try to reclaim his throne multiple more times. Another time was in 508 BC, when he got the support of Lars Porsena in the Etruscan city-state of Clusium. After that failed, he finally found himself in the Latin city of Tusculum in 498 BC, where his son-in-law, Octavius Mamilius, was leader. And during the subsequent Battle of Lake Regillus, Tarquin's final son would die, and after losing, this would mark the final time Tarquin tried to reclaim the throne. He would finally die in 495 BC. By 494, the patricians and plebeians were at each other's throat over the issue of debt, the debt that many plebeians had incurred over the past few years. And many of these people, including soldiers, could not pay this debt and were subject to harsh punishments such as becoming a servant to their debtor. As a result, when the Romans were at another minor war with some Sabine and Volscian tribes, and when men were called to fight them, they refused. So eventually, the Senate appointed Manius Valerius Maximus as dictator to deal with the crisis. He promised the people that once the war was finished, they would resolve the debt issue immediately. So of course, the people listened, as Manius was the brother of the beloved Publius Valerius Publicola. Now, once this minor war was finished, Manius did go to the Senate and tried to get them to enact some kind of debt relief, but the Senate refused. Enraged by this, the plebeians decided to just leave the city and abandon it and leave it to the patrician classes to fend for themselves. With the city now virtually defenseless and even more tribes starting to act up near Rome, the patricians had no choice but to listen to the demands of the masses. They sent their envoys, and as a result, the position of tribune of the plebs was formed, which in theory was meant to shield the masses from possible tyranny of the patrician class. And eventually, things went back to normal, and men were now willing to fight. This whole event became known as the First Secession of the Plebs. It's one of many different confrontations between the plebeian and patrician classes that would occur throughout Roman history. This about wraps up the time I have for now. But it's important to note that much of what I said previously likely did not happen exactly the way that I stated it, as This early Roman history is a series of myths and legends that the Romans mostly told themselves. Even the date for the founding of the Republic in 509 BC is suspicious, as it seems like it might have been a later fabrication to one-up Cleisthenes in Athens by a whole year. But regardless of how exactly it happened, it's still always fun to talk about and explore.